Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another LEGO Lover 117 audio commentary. Today's audio commentary is on my Thomas Comes to Breakfast remake that I did pretty much out of just sheer love for this episode. I'll get in more into that whenever we actually start the audio commentary. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Here we are at the intro section. Fun fact, I actually had to slow this down in post-production because I actually moved Thomas a little too fast. So if you can't already tell, that's actually slow-mo footage. This footage I don't think was slowed down. I think this is just me doing it normally. You see there's old Tony Stark standing there next to... That's actually supposed to be Captain Lance from the Arrow TV series. And oh god, Thomas had no eyebrows there.
Thomas had become conceited. He didn't realize his driver was joking.
The two character models actually changed to the Winter Soldier in normal disguise and Oliver Queen there. Looking back at some of these older remakes that I did in 2016, I can definitely see that my quality in terms of just production has completely changed. Like from my Stepney Gets Lost remake to this remake, the production quality has just increased dramatically.
Thomas suddenly remembered. Silly stick in the muds.
I think I could have made those pupils a little smaller, but you know, wanted to make it seem like it's big. And I also tried to close Toby and Percy's eyes in the background, but it really just didn't look right, so. I almost forgot to mention, there's the return of the three-berth roundhouse. I thought it was appropriate since it looks kind of like Farquhar sheds. Just a little bit, though.
He just kept rolling along. He didn't dare look at what was coming next. There was the station master.
Yes, I did build that station master's house out of reference from the episode, and I did repurpose a bunch of minifigures to use as the family. That crash actually took like 5 takes. I could never get that right. I had to reset it up, and it was actually painstaking. This was actually all Photoshop. If you couldn't actually tell, the original rough cut of this remake, the photoshopping was just awful. I had to completely redo it. That's actually a Lego pizza, if you can't tell, in terms of breakfast. I don't really have a lot of Lego food. So, yeah, and that dust was also Photoshop, if you couldn't tell. I am just so good at visual effects.
Then the Scottish twin engines Donald and Douglas arrived.
So I said earlier I did this remake because I have a love for this episode, and that's true. This episode was my favorite growing up as a kid because this was the first VHS I'd ever had as a kid, and that's really the main reason why I wanted to remake this, is because I have such a love for this story. This was actually a really hard scene to actually pull off because, as you can see, I had to tape a Lego chain to each end of each character because wooden railway magnets, they only connect one way. You can't connect them backwards, so yeah, that was really tough because that tape would not hold.
Badly twisted. The twins laughed and left him. Thomas was in disgrace. There was worse to come. You're in a lot of trouble, Thomas. I know, sir. I'm sorry, sir. Thomas's voice was muffled behind his bush. You must go to the works and have your front mended. It will be a long job. Yes, sir. Meanwhile, a diesel rail car will do your work.
I think I did a pretty good job at keeping the dust on Thomas consistent and stuff, and you see Donald and Douglas in the background there behind Sir Topham Hatt. I obviously couldn't put dust on Thomas in this shot because it is a video and I was zooming out, but I also had to shrink the bush in post-production. That took a little longer than I wanted it to. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of my Thomas Comes to Breakfast remake and the end of this audio commentary. Again, I remade this just pretty much out of sheer love. There really was no reason I had to remake this. I did it because I wanted to. So with all that being said, guys, I want to thank y'all for watching, and as always, good night, everybody.